What if those parts of you that you've hidden away, the ones you've rejected, what if they aren't weaknesses at all? Imagine for a moment that they're actually a deep well of untapped strength, a quiet but immense power just waiting for you to claim it. What if your deepest fears, your most guarded secrets, actually hold the key to unlocking the most authentic and powerful version of yourself? So many of us spend our lives running from our dark side, genuinely scared of what we might find. But what if that darkness is simply the unlit space where your true potential has been patiently waiting all along? Today, we're not just going to peek into the shadows, we're diving in, head first, into the depths of your unconscious mind. We're setting out to explore the hidden workings of your inner shadow, that part of your psyche you've likely been taught to ignore, or maybe even suppress. By the time we're through with this journey, you'll see how these unlit corners of yourself don't just passively exist, they actively shape your reality. And embracing them, that could be the most transformative step you ever take. This isn't about trying to become something you're not. It's about having the courage to become all of who you are. So, what exactly is this shadow we're talking about? Well, the term was famously coined by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, a real pioneer in understanding the depths of our minds. He described the shadow as the unconscious part of our personality, the stuff our conscious ego doesn't really identify with or want to acknowledge. Think of it like a psychological blind spot. It holds all the qualities, impulses, and desires we've learned to label as unacceptable, negative, or shameful. Now, these aren't necessarily evil traits, not in the way popular culture often paints the dark side. It's more accurate to say the shadow is made up of the parts of ourselves that are simply unseen, maybe undeveloped, or perhaps pushed into the darkness of our unconscious because they didn't quite fit the mold of who we thought we should be. And why do we even develop a shadow in the first place? It's a completely natural part of growing up human. From when we're little, we learn from our families, our friends, and society what's okay to show, and what parts of us will get a nod of approval versus a frown. To fit in, to feel loved, sometimes just to protect ourselves, we start to push down or deny certain bits of our true nature. If showing anger wasn't welcome in your house, you might have learned to stuff it down. If your passionate creativity seemed a bit too out there for others, you might have hidden it away. These disowned parts don't just disappear, though. They gather in our unconscious and form the shadow. It becomes this storage space for all our not-me qualities, the good, the bad, and the simply different, all living just beneath the surface of what we're aware of. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Your shadow isn't just some dumping ground for negativity. It might sound like a contradiction, but it can also be a treasure chest. Carl Jung himself said the shadow can be 90% pure gold. Hidden within these repressed parts, you'll often find incredible strengths, talents you never knew you had, immense creativity, deep wisdom, genuine assertiveness, and a powerful current of vital energy. Think about the passion you might have suppressed, that unconventional idea you dismissed, or the raw honesty you learned to water down. These aren't just lost pieces, they are dormant power sources. Embracing your shadow is really about reclaiming this lost gold. But what happens if we don't face this hidden self? The price of keeping things repressed can be huge. When we deny parts of ourselves, they don't just vanish, they often gain power in the darkness, influencing us in ways we don't consciously realize. One of the most common ways the shadow flexes its muscle is through projection. This is when we unconsciously pin our own unacknowledged traits onto other people. That colleague whose ambition really grates on you, maybe it's reflecting a part of your own ambition that you've pushed away. That quality you judge so harshly in a friend, it might just be a mirror to something you can't quite accept in yourself. Ignoring the shadow can also lead to that nagging feeling of being stuck, of sabotaging yourself right when you're close to a breakthrough, or just an unshakable sense of not being whole. It can show up as chronic anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem. You might feel like you're living a life that isn't really yours, wearing a mask, what Jung called the persona, that doesn't line up with your deeper self. This internal tug of war, this split between our conscious self-image and our repressed shadow, absolutely drains our energy and stops us from feeling truly whole and unified inside. The parts of you that stay unseen can, pretty much, run your life from behind the curtain. So, how does this unseen part of us, the shadow, actually work? Its methods are subtle, but they have a huge impact woven right into the fabric of our daily lives. The unconscious mind, where the shadow hangs out, is a powerful force. It influences our thoughts, steers our emotions, writes the scripts for our dreams, and often pulls the strings on our impulsive behaviors and reactions. Often the shadow shows itself most clearly in our triggers, those situations or people that make us react way more strongly than seems warranted. That sudden intense anger, that rush of defensiveness, the pang of envy, or even that feeling of being completely bowled over by admiration for someone, these can be really valuable clues pointing directly to unacknowledged bits of your own shadow. For example, if you've got repressed feelings of being disrespected, they might explode as unexpected aggression. Or subconscious feelings of being mistreated could bubble up as chronic impatience or a really short temper. When life throws changes or stress our way, the shadow might even stir up self-sabotaging resistance. It's like our psychological self-preservation system has gone a bit haywire. Recurring patterns in your life and relationships can also be whispers from the shadow. Do you find yourself attracting the same kind of difficult partner over and over? Or hitting the same roadblocks at work, no matter how hard you try? These cycles might be driven by unconscious beliefs and disowned parts of yourself that are trying to get your attention or find some kind of resolution. Dreams, too, are rich territory for shadow encounters. Jung believed dreams are a direct line to the unconscious, often revealing shadow elements through their symbolic language and stories. And it's worth saying again, dark in this context doesn't mean evil or bad. It simply means unlit, unconscious, or undeveloped. The shadow can absolutely contain positive qualities that we were, for whatever reason, taught to suppress. Maybe you were shamed for being sensitive, so you buried your empathy. Or perhaps your assertiveness was called bossy, so you learned to hide your natural leadership skills. These are valuable assets, just hidden in the shadow, waiting for you to bring them back. The shadow is a complex mix. It's the parts of us we're ashamed of, sure, but it's also the potential we've been too afraid to own. So, if the shadow holds so much hidden power, how do we get to it? The key isn't about trying to get rid of or fix these hidden parts. It's about embracing and integrating them. Shadow work isn't an exorcism. It's about building a relationship with all of who you are. It's a journey towards wholeness. What does it actually mean to embrace the shadow? It starts with building awareness, paying attention to your inner world consciously, and without judging yourself. It's about looking at your triggers, your uncomfortable emotions, and your projections with curiosity instead of criticism. Self-compassion is absolutely vital here. You're not flawed because you have a shadow. Everyone does. It's about understanding that these repressed bits developed for a reason, often as ways to cope or in response to what was going on around you. The aim is to bring these unconscious elements into the light of your consciousness. This doesn't mean you suddenly start acting out every dark impulse. Not at all. Instead, it means acknowledging these impulses, understanding where they come from, and then choosing how to channel their energy in a constructive way. For instance, acknowledging repressed anger doesn't mean you become an angry person. It means you might reclaim the assertiveness and the ability to set healthy boundaries that the anger was trying to tell you about. By consciously engaging with and integrating these hidden aspects, you unlock the energy that was previously all tied up in keeping them down. This is where the unleashing really happens. It leads to greater authenticity, because you're no longer spending energy keeping up a front. It builds emotional resilience as you become more comfortable with the whole range of human experience. And it opens the door to accessing the genuine power, creativity, and vitality that your shadow has been holding on to for you. The journey of shadow integration, often called shadow work, is a deeply personal and truly transformative process. It often kicks off when we hit a crisis, or maybe that deadly boredom that makes everything seem meaningless, or when the carefully built mask we show the world starts to crumble. Carl Jung called this the Nakia, a descent into darkness, but it's a descent with a clear purpose, to retrieve lost parts of the soul. There are several ways to help you on this journey. Self-reflection is fundamental, really paying attention to your moods, your daydreams, and your impulses. Journaling can be an incredibly powerful tool for this, letting you record and explore your thoughts, emotions, dreams, and reactions without any judgment. Meditation helps you observe your mind in the present moment, noticing patterns as they pop up. Dream work, another key Jungian technique, involves looking at your dreams to bring unconscious stuff into your conscious awareness. This isn't about those generic dream dictionary interpretations, but about exploring what the symbols and stories mean to you personally. Active imagination is another technique where you consciously engage with figures from your unconscious through things like visualization or creative expression like drawing, writing, or even dancing. It can be incredibly revealing. The The benefits of this courageous inner work are huge and ripple out into every part of your life. First off, you gain greater internal strength and self-acceptance. As insecurities that were rooted in self-rejection begin to fade, genuine confidence starts to shine through. Your perception of yourself and others becomes clearer, less clouded by projections and self-deception. This leads to better emotional intelligence and more authentic relationships, because you can relate to others from a place of wholeness rather than from your unacknowledged wounds. Psychologically speaking, shadow integration is really important for reaching mature adulthood. It's a path to becoming a truly integrated individual. It's a holistic kind of self-discovery, an emotional alchemy, where suppressed emotions are transformed into sources of strength and wisdom. By understanding where they came from, you can turn difficult emotions into allies that actually fuel your personal growth. This whole process empowers you, building resilience by helping you accept both your vulnerabilities and your strengths. Ultimately, shadow work can unveil passions and talents you never knew you had, guiding you toward a more purposeful life where your full potential is unlocked. As Jung famously said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. It's through this challenging yet incredibly rewarding process that true transformation happens. This exploration is really just the start of a profound journey. If any of this resonated with you, if you feel that little nudge to explore your own inner landscape, please give this video a like and subscribe for more content on self-discovery and personal transformation. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you had any experiences with your own shadow? What parts of this idea intrigue you the most? Your shadow, that collection of hidden parts of you, isn't an enemy you need to defeat. It's a vital, undeniable part of your complete self. Understanding and integrating it isn't just some psychological exercise. It's a courageous path to unlocking your deepest authenticity, your most resilient strength, and your truest power. It's an ongoing journey, a continuous unfolding into greater wholeness. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What gold might be hidden in your own darkness? What parts of yourself have you disowned? And what power might they hold if you dared to reclaim them? The journey into the shadow is the journey into the very heart of who you truly are. Embrace it. Unleash what's within.